Well, thank you
Okay.
everyone joining tonight on February 22nd. We are so excited. We've got a great four guests tonight. We have Jason and Lisa Putnam. Jason is CFO, he's president, one of the owners, and his wife has many different roles at the company. And one I have to look up here because it's VP of Elite Services and Global Recognition. I mean, Lisa, you do a lot behind the scenes. I see you welcoming everyone. It's a great position to have. And then, of course, we have the formulators. We've been waiting to hear how this amazing TriGLP product came to be. And we have a lot of really thoughtful questions for you. But just wanted to maybe introduce you, Jason, and then you can introduce the formulators and we can get started.
You bet. Well, thank you so much, Joy, for setting this up, and we're glad to be here. We love to talk about this new product to as many people as possible, and I'm so excited that we have Sean and his wife Tylene on because they really are the masterminds behind this whole thing. And I'm not going to take a ton of time. I'm going to turn it to them and let them tell us about the product. We'll do a question and Q&A on it, and then some testimonials at the end. And let's just have a great call, guys. Sean, I'll go ahead and have you guys come on and.
All right. Make sure I'm unmuted.
We can hear you.
Good. Well, we've got we're in the backcountry of San Diego. We I don't know what you'd call our place, a petting zoo, retreat property, a ranch, but I'm always muting because of all these different animals. They come to the doors, they're barking, they're chirping, they're doing all kinds of crazy things. But thanks for having us. And yes, we're super excited about what has been going on with the product. This has been a long time in the making. We kind of call ourselves product creators, right? And we've been creating products, formulated, whatever you want to call it, for
long time.
20 some years now, and really in the healthy lifestyle space. And so originally we still do a lot, but we focused on gut health. We believe everything starts in the gut. And from there, we were basically making products for doctors, health practitioners, a lot of professional athletes, sports teams, whatever, anyone and anyone really who wanted to get their health more into their own hands rather than relying on what they were being told, right? Whether it was pharmaceuticals, synthetic ingredient type products, et cetera. So you can really understand what is going on with this TriGLP product, why it's unique, why it's different. This has been in the works for many, many years. And there's two sides to this, right? There's the ingredient side, which in this case, we're talking about a specific salmon and a specific patented process on what is done with that fresh salmon out of the fjords in Norway. Okay. And that's been going on. That whole process there has been about 15 years in the making. This wasn't something that just happened because of some marketing opportunity that we see other companies jumping on and taking advantage of, and that's okay. And then that's in the Norway side, we've got the patents, we have those processes. And then on our side, for about the last, 12, 14 years, we have a couple of patents on extraction. And our patents are based on extracting a food, a plant, a mushroom, a root, a flower, leaving things whole the way Mother Nature intended, right? And so, but let's start in Norway. Let's start with what is this that we're extracting? And so what they're doing is they're doing something which we fell in love with enzymes. We're big enzyme people, right? And so they're actually using specific enzymes in their process to liberate the salmon, and they do wonderful things with that. And so in this case, what we're utilizing is, first of all, you're talking about sushi grade salmon. You're talking within 40 minutes of coming out of this perfect climate temperatured water, feeding everything in the fjords, they are processed. So it happens right now. It's as fresh can be. There's no smell, right? You would think that fish can smell pretty rancid because it does get pretty funky pretty fast. Not in this case. And you're talking about an 18-month-old salmon coming to adulthood, if you will, whereas most salmons that you hear all these different things about around the world, wild caught even specifically, is they take up to about 5 years to mature. And by that time, they're riddled with a lot of parasites and other things. So we get to avoid all that. We know exactly where that salmon's been from the time it was a little egg, right, in the fjords to all the way to it's going to come in and have it self-processed. So with that being said, we're talking a super clean, patented process on the salmon side. And then on our side, what we've been doing for all these years is extracting something, in this case, it's salmon, right? Using no chemicals, using no alcohol. And I'm talking about when you put something into a bottle, right? A tincture bottle, a dropper bottle, whatever you want to call it. Everyone on the planet pretty much does the same thing. And so even if they're not specifically using chemicals, they're using some other type of process. They're isolating something, right? We don't isolate anything. We take everything whole. just the way it was in nature. We don't add alcohol, and we don't add what I'll call a carrier oil into the bottle. Okay. So when you see that TriGLP bottle, it is salmon in a very clean water that is in there. That's what's in the bottle. It's not something else. The reason why it absorbs so high is just that, right? Because our bodies are made up of mostly what? Water and fluids, not oil. Okay. And oil's pretty problematic putting into the human body. The absorption is extremely low, no matter what they're saying. It can be problematic when you're forcing oil into the cells. Okay. That doesn't mean that a product like that, even like in the CBD world, there was a lot of that, right? Everyone remember that everyone was marketing CBD, and those oils didn't absorb very well. And that's why you hear so many people say, it didn't do anything for me. And other people say, well, it did help me, right? And that's just because those were oils. When we were working in that space, the absorption was so high. We started with doctors originally because that product wasn't legal in the United States. We worked out of the country. We worked with cancer facilities in other countries where we could utilize what we would call fluid, right? And so whatever we extract using our processes, it's whole, and the profile of what we extract, the end result looks almost identical. And that's unheard of because other companies, they don't have those patents, and they choose to take a single molecule, amplify that a little more like what pharma does, right? And then the end result is it's in the bottle, and you have to take a lot because it's an oil. And so in our case, we are a true micro dose, micro drop. We're 50 milligrams per drop of what we're extracting here. So when something is whole, less is needed, right? Because you have all the pieces to the puzzle, like a whole food as an example, right? And so you hear these kind of things where, all right, is it a synthetic vitamin? Is it a whole food vitamin, right? In this case, is it a synthetic peptide, these GLPs, these injections, or is it what we're doing? And it's not just about because we're using food, and it's not just about because we're using salmon. And there are other people trying to do what we do. It happens to us every time we create something with our extraction process, whether it's lion's mane mushrooms, CBD, it doesn't matter, because they know when we get onto something and we're truly helping people, they kind of jump on the marketing bandwagon. They're marketers, that's all. And that's okay. But that's not really who Tylene and I are. We truly are health advocates. And that's what we've done for so long. We're educating people how to help themselves using products that truly get results for what they're trying to accomplish. So it is unique. It is different. You don't need a lot. That's why our cost per use, cost per dose, right, is very affordable. And certainly in this GLP space is ginormous, as everyone knows. It's one of the biggest things we've ever seen since doing what we do for the last 25 years or so. It's all over the world in all these different countries. And so we like to say, drops, not shots. It's kind of a simple little fun little thing because it's true. First of all, who wants to get a shot? And our product can only help, right? And the biggest difference is, besides it being a drop, is that you're losing fat. That's true. But the synthetic, the GLPs, the injections, you're losing muscle. In fact, between 25 and 39% muscle loss. And that's not good, and that's not healthy. So with us, you're not losing muscle. You're retaining, maintaining lean muscle mass. So you're helping your gut. You're not hurting your gut, right? And Tylene can talk a little bit about kind of turning the switch on in the body to make this all work. And, as we get into the food noise and quieting the food noise, but I'll let you take a turn.
The main thing is it's triggering and supporting your incretin hormones, which are your gut hormones. That is what the GLP is, GIP and GLP-2. So GLP-1, GLP-2, and GIP, and it's igniting those. So it's harmless, which is the biggest thing, because everything else out there is synthetically made, and it's forcing a reaction on the body, whereas we're giving the body what it needs and allowing it to heal itself and regulate itself. And it quiets the food noise by the GLP-1 and GIP working together, and then making you feel full after you eat. It just does so many things, as well as healing the gut, which is going to be the GLP-2 component. So you're going to have better absorption. So somebody may go, well, I feel this, and this, and I thought this product was just for fat loss, but it's because it's getting the body to work better. So they may have other things happening to them that make them feel great. I have a lot of people go, well, I don't need to lose fat, but I started taking this product for the maintenance component of it. One is also for iron. So it helps with energy because it's helping the ferritin stores, which is your iron stores. And once you have iron, you're going to have more oxygen throughout the body. And that's a really important thing. So if you're wondering where the energy component comes from, that's where you're getting the energy. One is the nutrient absorption, healing the gut lining, the intestinal tract. And then two would be the fact that you're able to utilize your iron more correctly. And that's all of it's a game changer.
Well, it's really interesting because there are people trying to copy what we've done. That's going to happen. Comes with the territory. That's okay. Success kind of
Breeds jealousy.
breeds jealousy in a sense. And it, you know,
Being copied is the highest form of compliment, though, too.
but I want everyone to understand it's not. You can't just say, oh, we're using a salmon because
it's not the
they're
same
using
thing.
a salmon. You know, you got millions and millions of dollars over the last 15 years figuring this out, you know, down to the tiniest little piece of the puzzle.
So the copycats right now that I've seen out there are isolating one thing. And so you guys know what you have. During the original process from the actual salmon, there are enzymes used to liberate the peptides. So all of the amino acids, the good proteins, everything, it's liberating that. So you're getting over 500 different peptides that then support and trigger the incretin system to work. So then those hormones, the GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP are released. But also, like I said, the ferritin stores get better, the healing gets better. So it does other things because of what it is. And it's a more complete molecule, so to speak. It's a kind of like in the cannabis world, they used to talk about the entourage effect. That's what it's like. It brought all of its friends with it. So it supports the body in a complete manner. And fat loss is really almost a side effect of the body working better.
Well, it's in the skin. I mean, what it does
Hair,
for
skin, nails, all of it.
it's fantastic. I mean, it's
Because you're getting more
collagen.
nutrients. It's the collagen component of it.
It's all in there.
Mhm.
And so it is a little bit different for everyone, meaning people are going to feel different things, but it's typically pretty darn good is what they're feeling, which is great. People who are a little more, have more fat to lose, they tend to lose it a little quicker. And I'm basing this off the clinicals. I'm basing this off the studies, right? And so if someone, you can lose fat with this product the first week, there's no question. But with clinical studies, you're looking at probably a couple weeks less if someone has a lot of fat to lose, right? Then maybe someone who doesn't have as much fat to lose. And so you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks. And the beauty of this is the longer you use it, the better, right? It's the complete opposite of these synthetic versions of these injections. The longer you use it, the worse you get. And that's why the lawsuits have started, because it's harmful to the body. And we don't want to ever harm the body. We just want to give to the body, let the body decide what it wants to use in that particular moment. And so whether you're using 5 drops in the morning, 5 drops in the afternoon, some people are using 10 drops all at once in the afternoon. Some people just say, I just want a maintenance supply and I'm going to do 5 drops a day. That's okay too. And so some people are using it with their synthetic injection to try to retain some of their lean muscle that they're destroying.
Or if they're coming off of one of those, this would be, I would almost push your friends and family to do it because it'd be safer as they're getting off to help still regulate that system as well as heal some of the damage that was done by those injections. Because a lot of those are hard on the pancreas, they're hard on the intestinal tract. There's a lot of different issues with them in general, but a lot of people have a ton of weight to lose. And so they're desperate. So I understand why they're going to get an injection. And you probably have friends and family members that have done that. So you really want to encourage them to take this with it. And then as they get off, they'll increase their dosage of hours as they're getting off. But even if they just did a maintenance dose with whatever synthetic that they're using, that would be very helpful to them.
All right. What do you think? Enough? You want us to be quiet? Answer questions? We can just go on and on.
Joy, did they reach pretty much what you're looking for with your group? You're still muted, so Joy, you're muted. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah, my whole screen changed. I did something today with my computer and I'm not happy. But anyway, no, that was really good. I learned a lot. We already have a lot of medical professionals starting to incorporate this into their practice because not everyone is a good candidate for the synthetic. And of course, people coming off, we've got some great testimonials of people who have gone off and they're on the drops and they're having fabulous results. And one of the things I know the person cannot be on the call tonight, but he said he was on injections for a year and he said he went to his hairdresser and she said, Rick, your hair is really getting thin. And he's like, and he said, you don't want to tell a man that they're losing their hair. He said, you'd rather be fat. But the fact is, that ours will support good skin, good hair, good nail growth, etc. Yeah, what I did want to, I have a whole list and I think Jason does too. One of the questions, and you were talking about other products, the knockoffs, just like when Ozempic came out, that all of a sudden there's all these other injections. The GLP-3, because one of the ingredients is salmon from Norway,
Yes.
And it's in a dropper. How would you say that that's different? Because I know that it can be really confusing for people who have been shown, hey, I can get this.
That was the exact one I was talking about because it's isolated. And that's why I was saying you guys have over 500 peptides. They're just showing one. I've never seen any research, and this is our raw ingredient had been researched for like 15 years. And then we extracted it from there.
So it's
double patented.
It's patents on both sides. And it's not always about having a patent. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Right. But what does it mean? It means that they've perfected from egg till adulthood. They've done all the trials. They've done all the studies. on their end, right? And it is fascinating. I mean, we all need to go there sometime because it is unbelievable to experience what they're doing. It is just wild. It's hard to even describe. And then on our end, so if it's a dropper form, right, like this company, the absorption is not there. It can't be. It can't be. Well, first of all, they're not extracting the whole thing, right? Like Ty said.
Right. The raw ingredient by itself is different.
It's completely
so that
different.
alone crushes
Different.
them.
Well,
So
I
they're-
did notice on their for their dosage, it's 3/4 of a dropper full, where ours is usually
Yeah.
5 to 10 drops, so that's a big
Yeah,
difference in size.
And all they're really trying to do there is get it to is any of it that they can get into the human body. As you all know, when you drop ours on the tongue, it dissipates right now. It's in. It's pretty much bypassing the whole digestive tract, digestive system. It's absorbing now. Those products don't do that.
They couldn't copy it if they wanted to because we have multiple patents
On this
the
end-
actual extraction process. So which makes ours water compatible, truly water compatible, which makes the absorbability like 99%. So that's why they have to take so much because they even if they wanted to copy us, they couldn't. They'd be infringing on our patent.
Gotta fly. If you see me doing that, I'm not doing Tai Chi or anything.
Salmon drops.
Get excited. And
Would you like me to just ask questions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
just,
you want to go through the questions and they
Let
can
me just
answer.
interrupt real quick. I want you to know something. It's important to us. It's not who Ty and I are as humans. And we don't ever want to say negative things about people or companies. However, it's an apples and oranges conversation. Like there's no comparison. It's that different. And so I don't want to come across that way because that's not who we are, but I do want you to know, I want you to feel empowered and confident that it's nothing like what you have. It just on either side, on the salmon side, on the testing side, and then on the extraction and the absorption side, there's no comparison there.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Jason, you have the list of questions. Do you want to ask them?
I can, or if you want to, that's great too.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me pull them up.
Well, then I'll ask the first one.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to know if we can still expect a 6 to 7% drop in BMI for every 12 weeks that we continue to use the product, or is it just the first 12 weeks only?
I mean, it's
Everybody's different.
it's kind of a loaded question, only
I know.
because everyone's different.
They could start eating cupcakes after 12 weeks. Like, I don't.
They're going to probably hit that place where they're pretty content, right? Most people, if they're disciplined enough to, use the product, maybe eat a little bit better because their food noise in their mind is less, right? And they're not eating perhaps as often or as big of portions. And hopefully they're not just sitting on their hiney, they're up and they're walking around and they're doing some stuff. They're getting movement, right?
That's what's good is because it does have an energy component.
Yeah, the metabolic energy
People
component.
are moving more and reporting that they're moving more. And then there's also the inflammation component, which is what I believe why people are losing weight so fast in the beginning, because inflammation actually has a weight. So that's important for people to understand that as well. But when I'm working with people, I also try to teach them what to do. So if you're noticing that you're plateauing, kind of assess what are you doing? So when am I taking the drops? You know what? I was taking 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, and that's what was working for me. But now I'm not sure if it's working as much anymore. Well, you drink coffee in the morning or tea in the morning, maybe skip that one and do more towards the end of the day where you're more apt to overeat and put on the weight. So you still want to assess what you're personally doing, because if any of us eat late at night and then don't move, we're all going to gain weight. So for me personally, I don't need it in the morning because I'm not really hungry. I'm not a big overeater in the morning. I tend to overeat towards the evening. So I do all my 10 drops at like 2 in the afternoon. So I don't eat everything in the kitchen when I finally get to relax at night. So everyone does need to assess like where they're at in their own life. And then what are they putting in their mouth? So as far as, are you putting good food in, or are you just constantly reaching for sugar and things like that? Because then you're sabotaging what you're trying to accomplish. So just be mindful of that too. If you truly want long-term results and have it keep working after 12 weeks, reassess kind of where you're at and make some adjustments.
Good.
Great. The next one is there anyone that should not be using TriGLP drops?
No, because even if they're breastfeeding, or, I mean, as long as a mom's eating when she's pregnant, you could take a maintenance dose because it's going to help heal the gut. It's going to be phenomenal for her iron levels. The only issue would be if she wasn't very hungry and wasn't eating enough for her and a baby. So that would be the only issue, is like, wow, man, I'm not really hungry. So that person would have to be mindful of that, but it's not harmful. The only thing that would be harmful is if they didn't eat enough.
Get enough nutrients.
They didn't get enough nutrients for her and the baby.
So there's no, like if someone, she had her gallbladder removed and she's wondering, would I be able to use this?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
They would need it. It would
Okay.
help.
Any health challenge, any thyroid issues, I mean, I just say it's food, but we always refer people back to their doctor, but
No, because it's actually supporting your hormones in specifically your gut hormones. But the more you can support that system in general, actually helps the thyroid and helps other organs. Because when things work in balance, that is homeostasis all over. And when you're giving the body something natural and not just one, so there's two different things. So you can give the body something synthetic, that's going to have a host of issues. But you can also create a drug-like effect in the homeopathic world. And that's what a lot of these other companies are doing. They're isolating, giving you one thing. And what that can do is mess up other things because you're not giving the body a balanced thing that they recognize. So normally in nature, when we eat, we're going to trigger like our GIP, we're going to trigger, the GLP2 and 1. But if you're just forcing only one, what happens to GLP2? What happens to GIP? And that's where the issues are from blocking things and doing that, that is allopathic thinking, not naturopathic thinking. It's forcing a reaction on the body to get a result, force a result, but not looking at what all the side effects are after that. So it's really, really important that you guys have something safe. That is the first thing I would let all of your friends and family know, is that it's super safe. What I like about it is a lot of kids are gaining a lot of weight. One, they're eating the wrong food. So besides the fact, French fries and whatever, let's educate people on that first and foremost. But what do you give a child that is overweight without one affecting their brains, and they don't want to do an injection or go get surgery? So this is a really smart thing to give a child that is starting to gain weight where they shouldn't. They may just need gut healing. They may just need that signal woken up. And that's where it's really safe and really important that you can give it to a child. You could give it to someone who is pregnant that might need better iron stores. So it's very, very therapeutic.
So you don't have to be 12 and older?
No, I mean, we're supposed to probably say that or check with your doctor or whatever, but it's, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, it's beyond safe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much if you can eat salmon.
Right.
And kids, as young as, 3 years old eat salmon, some of them eat fish and stuff. So
Well, and
and
you're
younger,
allergic.
so.
If a kid is allergic to salmon, they could still have this because the Dalton size is so small. The body recognizes it as different nutrients, but doesn't recognize it as fish. So anyone with a fish allergy, it wouldn't even recognize that. So that's really, really important.
I've heard
that's what I'm like, I've said
that. A couple of people, when they first started taking it, have noticed having a headache or something like that. Have you heard anything with that? And I think Lisa actually had a headache when she first started taking it, and she lowered the dose and just kind of eased in, and she was fine. Have you guys heard anything with that?
Have you? I haven't heard anything.
Not really. And we'd be the first.
It's hard to say if this was what really caused the headaches either, but it did happen when she first started taking it. And but now it's fantastic.
When they stop eating a lot, the headache actually may be caused by not having sugar or something that they were overeating before and now they're not. Because headaches are usually caused when you pull sugar away from the body. You're like, I'm not going to do caffeine anymore. You'll get a splitting headache. So usually when you make those type of changes is where a headache comes in. So it's interesting because headaches that are iron created headaches should get better. So like women, when it's that time of the month, they actually should feel better because they're losing iron. This is going to help with their iron stores. So they actually should have less headaches, really, based on the research of what it does.
No,
okay, I have a question here. Curious about the role of the ginger root and the lemon with the product. Is it just flavoring or is there some therapeutic reason?
You can talk about the therapeutic reason, but to start with, it is, most people don't want to just taste salmon. Some people do, some people don't. But just in case, rather than adding like a flavoring to it, anything we use to flavor, like in this case, lemon and ginger root, we put through the same extraction process. And the beauty of that is not only are we controlling that source, we're not buying flavoring to add into a product, but the absorption remains the same, right? Because it's all going through that same extraction process, which makes it blend so easily and makes it it's the same to the body, right? When you're taking those drops. And then of course, there are therapeutic.
Yeah, I mean, ginger, everybody probably knows at this point, is really good for the gut in general, but it's also a thermogenic. So it does help, but it's in there for flavoring. So there isn't a ton. So it's not like that's the specific thing that's working for you. It's going to be the salmon that's in there and the peptides, but it's going to help. It's not going to hurt. And it's super clean. That's the other thing, because it's actually from ginger. It's actually from lemon. And then lemon, I tell everybody, is always good for the liver, good for detoxing. I mean, they both bring benefits.
And then I was I was thinking through, going back to what we were just talking about before that question, is I think anytime we're such big gut believers, right? Everything starts in the gut. Everything starts with digestion. Digestion takes precedence pretty much over everything else in the body. So depending on what you're eating, obviously, so on and so forth. And if all of a sudden your gut is changing, whether that's your microbiome, whether it's whatever that enzyme active, whatever's going on, people do feel something sometimes. You could feel a little detox a little bit or what have you. There are things that, I don't know, I'm digging deep here, but maybe something to, as far as a headache or whatever.
It should everything should actually not have a headache because
I-
it also helps regulate your blood sugars. So that keeps you more even keel, balanced. But all things are possible when the body starts healing.
No, that sounds good. There's someone getting ready to go into surgery for a back surgery to have a double fusion. And they were saying that they couldn't take GLP product for at least 2 months before surgery because they were not sure how the slowing of the gastrointestinal system will affect the anesthesia.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is before surgery, they want you off of everything. So another reason why you probably wouldn't want to do any of this before you get cut open in general is because there's the inflammation part. So if it helps clean your blood at all, because they want your blood kind of thick, not where it's thinner. So anytime you're helping with the inflammatory process, all of that. But yes, as far as gastric emptying, I would still think you'd be safe, but I wouldn't do it just because I tell everyone go off of everything before surgery. That way they never think, oh, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You just stay away from it all. It's usually like 36 hours. That's actually quite a long time they're having.
We just had, well, I can tell you this.
Yeah.
We have a very close friend who just went through major back surgery about 3 weeks ago, and he stopped using the product about 3 days before.
Yeah.
But
that's usually what it is.
I would listen to their doctor, whatever the doc says. Remember their doctor, not us.
Okay, another one is they saw a discussion suggesting that liver function may influence GLP-1 effectiveness. Do you believe liver health and overall metabolic state impacts someone's response to the TriGLP?
I mean, ours would help them, but I'm a big, big believer in the liver. If your liver is toxic and dirty and you're trying to lose weight, it's really difficult because the body does not want to let go of your fat storage until the liver can handle the toxins that have been stored in that fat. So it's really important, which is why the lemon comes in handy. You want to amp up your weight loss and fat loss, do lemon water in the morning. You know, do things that are going to help with this. Drink some dandelion tea. You know, you want to support your efforts. And this is just one more thing in your tool belt for fat loss, hang on to muscle, and get healthier.
One thing that we have noticed is with our detox tea, it works fantastic. Some people that weren't getting results at first with the TriGLP, we've had them do the drink to shrink brew tea, and it really did speed things up. So I don't know if it just helped them detox their liver or what, but
yeah, all of it. It does not hurt.
A lot more.
You guys have, oh gosh, I saw it when I was in Utah, but it's like your morning, it's got stuff in it that would be good. I think it has some enzymes in it. I would absolutely do that along with this. I mean, and then any teas that detox are phenomenal. You might want to do it away from it because this does seem to be the feedback I'm getting. It seems to work best with nothing else, like empty stomach and, you know, middle of the day or the morning, away from their coffee, away from their tea. So that's what I've been hearing from most people that are messaging me, like when they're playing around with it, they find it works best with just nothing else.
Okay, let's get back to the next question. Let's see. It says directions confuse people about how much to use. Not everyone understands a simple drop. And then now we have the numbers on the droppers, and I guess that's confusing people even more. The reason we put those on there is because people had a hard time counting drops and knowing. And so a scientific drop is really 0.05 milliliters. And so 5 drops would be the first mark at 0.25 milliliters. And we just did that to help people so they could kind of gauge how much they're taking better.
I think people,
it is hard because a drop can be anywhere from like a 0.02 milliliters to like 0.08, you know, and so people are like, man, my bottle didn't last me long enough. And it's
another thing no, you're right. And another thing that is different for a lot of people is if they've used dropper products, tincture bottles in the past, it just seems crazy to them that it's just little drops. And so there are a lot of people who get it and they just take the whole thing. It just doesn't register that it's just little drops, little squeezes, little drops. And so there's that, because we've seen that a lot with people who have used other types of dropper bottles. And then there's some people who just say, you know, more is better.
Yes.
they just want more. I'm like, what? You don't need all of that. But yeah, it is getting used to just little drops. And that is different sometimes if they've been using dropper fulls, you know, dropper fulls of something else, some other product. You know, there's mushroom products out there and there's all these different tinctures, right? But it's a true micro drop.
And so our bottles, we're filling them right at 5.5 to 5.6 milliliters. It's a 10 milliliter bottle, so it's just slightly over half full. And so with the drops, you know, if you calculate a scientific drop at 0.05, it should last you at 10 drops a day, right around 10 to 11 days. And so if it isn't lasting that long, you're taking more than your normal, than the 10 drops a day.
And the other thing I just want to add is one of the reasons that it's in that bottle, you really want room in that bottle to agitate it, to really shake it good, right? And so you want to have that space in there rather than using maybe a bottle slightly smaller. So it is nice. And this we've learned over the last, you know, 12, 14, 15 years, whatever it's been. It really helps to shake that thing really well before taking the drops.
I agree.
I mean, I'll let you know what I do because I don't waste anything. When mine's totally gone, I add water to it, shake it, and then still get everything out of the bottle, the dropper, everything. I'm not wasting one drop anywhere. So I'm like, I do that with all of our stuff, really.
Anything.
I even do that with shampoos, conditioners. I'm not wasting anything.
Okay, this says uptake this 90% as opposed to 78% of shots. Please explain, as many people say this can't work like a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to compare to a shot or work to work as a shot does. An injection is an injection. What we're really talking about are droppers. When we're talking about comparisons, and we don't typically compare ourselves to a synthetic shot, right? They're jamming that thing in there. They're amplifying what's in that
Saying
shot.
we'd rather do a drop versus a shot.
Right. And so when we're talking about, I'm talking about the dropper market comparisons, the true oil droppers that have carrier oils in them. Not that carrier oils are bad. Could be MCT oil, right? Could be MCT, it could be hemp seed. It could be
They use
coconut oil.
Everything.
You're talking 4 to 8% absorption, period. And then you can get the marketers and then we're going to do this and we're going to, liposomal, or we're going to jam this in there or whatever. No, first of all, you don't want to be forcing things into the cells, with a product like this. Now you're getting back to the kind of the pharma philosophy of things. So it's really about comparing our dropper to other droppers. I mean, to me, I've never made a comparison of a absorption of an injection. I'm going to assume, if you can't get higher absorption than us in an injection, I don't know what else you can do. So injections are shots, right? And so
they're also isolated.
And they're isolated, they're amplified, they're synthetic, and they're problematic. So I would like everyone to get into the habit of understanding that's not the question. The question is these companies that are trying to play a game with a dropper. That's the question, because they can't absorb. Obviously, it's a completely different thing to go from a drug, a shot, to a safe dropper bottle. So,
yeah, okay. The next question they have is, what is this DP44 and how it works with our product? And it says, those on shots say it won't work with ours.
Man,
I have no idea. What is that?
Every peptide out, I can't even name them all now of the different.
Well, they're all there's some
the different drugs.
There's so many.
There's a lot of different peptide scenarios out there, right? But not specific to what we're talking about, to what we're doing. So it's different. It's not the same. It's not always the same conversation. I just had a friend over earlier today, and we were talking about the peptides that everyone are talking about, to heal an injury, let's say, right? And there's a lot, man. The peptide market, it's not just the GLP market. Peptides are the hot topic right now, right? And so you've got them, all the marketing companies are coming out to play. Everyone's kind of posturing. The merchant processing companies are shutting down peptide companies because there's so much crazy lingo in claims going on out there. It's just a convoluted conversation. So
first of all, everyone needs to understand what a peptide is. Long before this whole industry happened, I would teach people, if you can break down your food and break down your proteins, you're getting peptides. So peptides are a chain of amino acids. They're protein. They're a chain of amino acids. So that's the first thing. And so they're just giving somebody one peptide, one thing. And if you, like I was saying, what you guys have your hands on is 500 peptides, because it has all the amino acids, everything in there, has type 1, type 3 collagen. It's a complete thing that you guys are getting, and then you're able to take it in the body, and then it triggers GLP-1. You're not taking GLP-1, you're not taking GLP-2. It's triggering that. It's supporting your body's natural hormonal process for gut hormones. And that's super, super important. So there is really nothing to compare it to, because what you're doing is closer to nature, and what everyone else is doing is like kind of man-made, synthetic, forcing reaction on the body. That's probably the best way I can explain it.
I think the timing's fantastic because, right, all the awareness out there or conversations about GLP-1, et cetera, it's huge. But also what's picking up more and more steam is the lawsuits, the healthcare providers, insurance providers not covering it anymore, the damage that it's doing to people.
Even advertising on the internet, they're being really
oh my gosh,
even the word GLP-1 or any of that, they're freaking out about it.
Because but it's not all the same, obviously. And so I'm excited because we have a safe solution to help people accomplish what they want to accomplish without having to take a drug, right? And especially with what's going on. Not to mention, and this is not, I don't mean to offend anyone that's using those things. There's no judgment here, but I know people using those things. I don't even recognize them anymore because their skin, their loss of muscle, they're droopy, right? And it's just
That's why I'm saying the drops along with, if they're doing that, is hopefully going to maintain more muscle mass and more gut lining integrity as they're doing some of those aggressive things. But I get it. If somebody is, 300 or 400 pounds, they want something
right now.
They're just ready for it to just be over and they want to just make this change in their life. So I understand that, but they want to try to do it as safe as humanly possible.
Can you go over like just the maintenance, a 1 bottle a month maintenance, how that works and what it does for your body?
Yeah, I pretty much said it earlier, but maintenance would be like 5 drops a day, and you could split it up, do, 2 drops in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, however you want to do that, or just 5 at once in the middle of the day. But what it's doing is it's still doing the same thing. It's going to trigger the hormones, but it also, like I was saying, has the collagen, the amino acids, the 500 peptides are literally trapped in those 5 drops to make your body work better. And one of the biggest things is healing the gut lining. So you're going to get better nutrient absorption, which is huge because now you're getting more nutrients, through the intestinal tract that can feed all over your body. That's why maybe your hair, your skin, your nails, everything starts being better, working better, but also your iron stores. And it's been tested. So the raw ingredient has literally been tested for being able to hang on to iron better in a storage capability, meaning like you have a bunch of tools all over your yard. That's great. You have the tools, but now you can't find them. They're all over the place. They're getting rusty versus you have a shed and all your tools are in your shed. That is what ferritin is. It's holding your iron for when you need it correctly. And that alone is reason to take this, just so you can have true energy instead of like a stimulant energy from coffee or whatever. So it's helping with that. So that alone, there's many, many things that it does. So that would be the 5 drops. You could even do 10, if you're feeling like your maintenance, if you had weight before, your maintenance may still be 10 because you don't want all the weight to come back either.
Yeah, 10 will definitely help with the food noise for sure. Another one was, what about people taking supplements? Are there certain supplements that they should stay away from or medications that this may not work well with?
So like if you are on blood thinners and different things where the bringing down your inflammation is going to make, so this isn't the issue. The issue is when you're taking it, it could potentially be cleaning your body up. So now the drug is working faster. So if there was anything bad happening, it would still be from the drug. But the reason is because now the drug may be working faster and you don't need that dosage anymore. So somebody may be taking a high amount of something and now it's going to get through the body faster because, like we said, their gut's healed now or better absorption. So it's really not that
cleaner blood is
right. It's not that the product is the problem. The problem is still always going to be the drug, but the only way you can get off of a drug is either you take yourself off or your doctor. So depending on what that drug is, and you start noticing it's working more effectively, you would go back to your doctor and say, I need you to lower my dosage because my brain's working better, or this is working better, especially if it's like a brain, ADHD medication. It could be anything, really. It could be anything that someone's taking.
Yeah, I've had people ask me about the blood thinner, so that's good that you address that.
Is there a concern for too much iron when you're taking this?
Great question, because my son produces a lot of iron, and boys tend to produce more iron because women lose their iron, unless we're older and then we're not getting that time of the month anymore. But so what it's doing is it's not giving you more tools in the yard. So it's not giving you more iron. It's organizing it and making your storage better. So if you're already producing a lot, it actually will help because it's kind of gathering that chaos in your body and making your body work better. So if someone's producing too much iron, this is actually still a good product for them, but it sounds like it wouldn't be, but it actually is.
One thing I like about the TriGLP, it seems like it really just makes the body, whatever the body's needing, it helps it get what it needs so it can get back to functioning the way it was designed to function in the first place.
Man.
And with all the foods, the processed foods and stuff that we eat nowadays, it really makes our bodies so they're not functioning correctly. And this really helps fix that function. It makes it so, most people years ago, before we had all this processed food stuff, the weight problem wasn't like it is today. I mean, we have obesity is higher than it's ever been. And that's what really makes these GLP products so popular right now, is because people are needing them to just make their body function the way it's supposed to function. And that's what I love about this with the 3 different pathways that it has. It really searches out and helps the body with whatever it needs. And that's an awesome.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much for the last 25 years, whatever it's been now, we've never taught weight loss. We don't teach weight loss. Weight loss to us is should
just be a side effect
of
healthy lifestyle,
of eating a certain way or doing certain things to help your body. Because we're so focused on the gut, we've done so much work with enzymes, etc. We know it's important. we're not telling people don't lose weight, but it's don't focus on just losing weight. And that's focus on losing fat. And then there's visceral
I
fat,
was just going to say that.
right? Your internal fat, which is
Even more important.
visceral fat. And so, but the reason why we're excited about this is because it's in alignment with what we've done and taught for 35
Forever.
years. You know what I mean? So we've had so many people, can you just create a magical weight loss pill or whatever? It's like, no, we don't want to do. There's a lot of ways, there's people smoking cigarettes to lose weight. There's people doing cocaine to lose weight. I mean, it's like, geez, there's a lot of things people can go do, but no, that's not what we do. That's not who we are. We want you to get as close as you can to feeling 100%. And maybe it's just 80%, maybe most people forgot what it felt like. And obviously as we age, it's more and more, like that. But the younger ages now, obviously, I'm not teaching anyone anything, are getting more health issues. That's all. From whether they're infants, all the way up through adolescence. It's crazy. And so we got to stop the madness, man. We need your voices. That's what this is all about, to really just share this information and this product, TriGLP. It is definitely a game changing. And I hate that. I hate it when people say game changing, but it
really is.
It truly, truly is. And the drops in itself, there's a big movement in droppers, huge, around the world, huge movement to less pills and capsules. And we take a lot. I take so many capsules.
Take a ton.
You would never want to know how many capsules I take in a day, right? But it's in general, most people, if they had a choice, you do a few drops or take a few capsules, they're going to pick drops, right? And so
and that's why gummies got so popular, but there's a lot of sugar and other ingredients
it's hard to find good gummies.
To get
there are good ones,
medicine in the gummies. But that's why the drops are such a sensation. And they're definitely more popular right now in a lot of these other countries.
They moved first.
So a lot of Asian countries, they're obsessed with the liquids for sure.
Yeah. We'll get
I have
there.
another question. It says, is it true that TriGLP helps lowering zonulin in the gut and brain? In the gut brain.
I mean, it has a massive gut brain connection.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back at the
we could look at the research this is such a fun but goofy conversation because it's done, and there's so many things that it does. You know what I mean? And so it is. I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I don't think it targets that as far as what I remember reading.
Okay. Can you explain why people shouldn't have to worry about food allergies with taking TriGLP?
So I was mentioning it earlier. So the Dalton's just a measurement. So it's very, very, very tiny. So when I say the Dalton's, it's so small that the body recognizes it as like a nutrient. It recognizes it as like an amino acid versus fish. So that's really, really important because it's already been broken down. So when we get the raw ingredient, there has already been an enzymatic process to the fish itself. That's what the enzymes are, what liberated the 500 peptides that you guys are actually getting with the drops. So that's super important to remember as far as it's so tiny. That's why people are not allergic to it.
This one, I think you guys kind of already answered because of the collagen and stuff. It says, is there hair loss issues? And explain how the bad side effects with.
Definitely not hair loss, but I know why they're asking that because people are seeing that with the injections. And that's because you're forcing a reaction on the body. So you're throwing off all these other pathways. One of them being the fact that you're not eating probably anything. So you're hardly eating any calories. I think some people are eating 500 to 800 calories. So the best way for you to understand this is when a mom's pregnant, if she's not eating enough food for her and the baby takes precedence over her. So her hair starts falling out. Her nails are brittle because that human wants to survive. So it'll deplete you. So we're no different as we are getting older. If we don't get enough nutrients and say the liver or something or the heart needs a nutrient, your hair doesn't. And so the body is conservative and it will pull from your hair, skin, and nails to complete some sort of metabolic reaction in the body to make sure it happens. So usually if you start losing your hair, now granted, male pattern baldness, all that's hereditary. So can't help you there. But as far as truly losing your hair and noticing different things, even your skin, the texture and the elasticity of it, it's because you're nutrient deficient. And so one of the things with the GLP-2 is it's helping with the nutrient absorption. And so it should help your hair. It should help these things. But that's the mechanism of action as to why it may help somebody with their hair. It's because they're getting more nutrients that maybe they haven't gotten in years. That's why some people may go, hey, I'm not losing weight. They may not be losing weight because they haven't gotten nutrients, true nutrients in years, because it's just eating donuts or whatever. Those are called empty calories. So you may gain weight from it, but you're not truly getting nutrients from it. And that makes all the difference in the world. You need nutrient dense foods and you'll naturally eat less.
Awesome. The last one. Is it safe to take on airlines? Will it freeze or what's?
No, it can get cold. I mean,
and ours has never exploded or anything.
It's okay. But yeah,
We
Take-
travel all the time.
even for-
We just put it in our like toiletry bag and we've
Couple
never had an
years.
issue.
No.
Yeah. On your carry-on, you probably don't want to take it on a carry-on. They'll probably make you dump it out.
Well, it's
Because
small
of the
enough.
liquid.
It's actually
It's fine.
small enough,
We've done
actually.
that.
So they'll let you do a carry-on?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's good to know.
Yes.
All right,
there
that's
were-
all the questions. I want to just.
There were a
thank you
lot of
guys.
questions in the chats, but I think
Do we cover them?
I think pretty much if there's someone who has a question that was not answered, I was just looking through, there were a lot of comments. But if there's, while we have the experts here, and then maybe we can get a testimonial or two, that'd be great. But if
Yeah.
there's anyone that has a question that they have to have answered,
Yeah, just unmute yourself and ask
Yeah.
away.
I have a quick question about how should we actually on social media and all of that say GLP, GIP, GLP-2? What is the best way that we should say it since we are supporting it? So I kind of gathered that we might be saying it wrong from what she said about what the product actually is doing. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, it's always safe, just legally in general, to say the word support in general. But in this case, you truly are supporting and getting the body to trigger. You could use those words, support or trigger your GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP naturally. So those would be like that little 30-second sentence. And then a fun word to learn is incretin hormones, because that may be a better buzz of something that maybe other people aren't using that, but that's truly what you're doing is you're supporting your incretin hormone process, which are your gut hormones, which is the GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP. So that's kind of little, you can play on that with social media. And nowadays you can put almost anything into like ChatGPT or, some fun things and get some little blurbs that would be very helpful for people to learn. But I would push more of that type of talk because 1, it's more accurate, 2, it's safer, and 3, it's safer legally.
Great, thank you.
And plus, even with the shots, you're not injecting GLP or GLP-1. You're injecting peptides that support GLP-1 production. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah, and it's forcing.
But it's just one, and
Yeah.
it's just, it
Yes.
focuses
Yeah.
only on GLP-1 or,
Yeah.
I mean, they have some new ones now that try to come close to the 2 or 3, but
And I think some people's bodies will turn that switch on right now, and some may take a few days. You know what I mean? Like we're same, right? We're similar, but we're different. And so that's why the beauty of this is continuing to be able to keep going and to keep using it, that it becomes, you just become healthier and healthier, right? There's so many opposites of what these injections are to what this is.
a lot of eating is mental too. So yes, it quiets the food noise, but sometimes people eat from habits. So they're not even hungry. So this may even be working for them where they're not hungry, but they're like, wait a minute, I eat every day at 5 o'clock, whatever. And so out of habit, they sit and make the same size plate of food. But as they're eating it, they're like, man, I'm not hungry and I'm eating this. So some of it, you have to just say, well, wait a minute, I'm actually not hungry. I need to stop. Let me wrap it up and put it back in the fridge. Don't feel compelled to eat it. So notice the little signals your body's giving you, because you're really retraining yourself as well, because a lot of what we do is habit from childhood. Like, this feels good to have my bowl of ice cream or bowl of cereal, watching my favorite show at night, whatever it is. So learn to break some of those habits and be more mindful of what you're doing. So because that's really what will help you.
I think that, and these are amazing questions, by the way. There's lots of deep information here.
I'm loving it.
But now I'll play the business side. I'll be the marketing side.
Yeah, keep it simple.
It's got to be simple, and just focus on the major differences. And the biggest difference for most people is that they hear you lose fat, but maintain your lean muscle mass. That is huge. Obviously, a given is no one wants to get a shot when they can take some drops.
Drops, not
And then your
shots.
cost per dose or use is typically less, right, than these synthetic injections. And so it can only help you.
Right.
To be able to tell someone, this can only help you. It can't hurt you. That's amazing. And the longer you do it, the better it gets. And so, because sometimes we can really get deep in the weeds.
Yeah, don't turn into me at all.
No, don't do it.
I'm glad I've been able to answer your questions,
She's
but
turned-
don't turn into me.
She's turned me into her,
No,
and
keep
you
it
don't want to do
simple.
that.
Keep it simple, because all it does is open up 500 other
Well,
questions.
it's because
People just need to try it. Like, you literally want to tell your friends, just try it. That's why it's called TriGLP. I like that. Try TriGLP.
all right, why, whatever.
Yeah, I like
But
it.
no, and I mean that sincerely. And don't get me wrong, we love this.
Right.
We love to be able to get deep with you, and but in general, just keep in mind the average person out there, they just want to know, what's the difference? Well, you're not gonna lose muscle. Guess what? You get to lose fat and not muscle. And guess what? It's safe and it's healthy and it does all these other amazing things for your body. It's so just those little nuggets that are just simple and true. We don't need to hype anything. We don't need to exaggerate anything. We have something no one else has. I don't mean to be cocky, but that's a confident statement. I want you to feel so confident with what you have. You win every time. You win the conversation with what you have. They don't have what you have. You win. So have that confidence and keep it so simple.
Just don't like throw up all these notes on your
No.
friends and family. Tell them little bits. And if they have a question, you have the answer. But definitely don't throw it all at them. Like, whatever you're doing is wrong and bad. And here's that. Oh my gosh, because they'll run. They'll run. Because I mean, I used to do that with everything. I'd read a research study and I'd tell everyone, you know, knock the plate out of their hand. Don't do that. You're going to die. You know, so it's like, you're not fun at a dinner party. Let's put it that way. So definitely don't overwhelm anybody. But it is good for you to have these answers in your back pocket, but just don't throw it all up on them. Just
Will this help someone with blood sugars or diabetic?
So yeah, it's going to help regulate blood sugars. And then diabetes is the main thing that all the GLP-1s and all the drugs started coming out for. So this is a safer way, especially if someone's pre-diabetic or has diabetes in the family. Not that we're supposed to say any of that. So check with your doctor. We're not even supposed to probably say the word any disease.
Diagnose, treat. I mean,
But the main things, especially like type 2, type 1, it can't hurt them. But once somebody's already been on insulin and they're doing insulin injections, there's not, you know, too much you can do to reverse that, but it could support what they're already doing
cut down
their dosage. And I don't know, this would be for you guys to try with a friend who has it, because I just haven't had enough people tell me, but the goal or ultimate amazingness would be that they're lessening their insulin shots or maybe moving them out a little further. And they would have to monitor that themselves, obviously, because that's super dangerous. But if they can, where that would be beneficial is the more insulin they take in a lifetime, it shortens your lifespan. So I don't know if people understand that the more insulin someone takes shortens their lifespan. So the less they can take can actually make their lifespan longer. And then type 2 diabetes, we should all be reversing that anyway by just being really mindful of a million different things on eating. But this would definitely help because it's going to lessen your fat, which is going to lessen some of the signals that mess with you with type 2 diabetes anyway.
Thank you.
Well,
I would like to hear Lisa's testimonial. I heard it's a great one.
all right, Lisa, take it away.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. First, I would like anybody that's not on camera that's okay with putting your camera on. I would love to see your faces because, I mean, no offense to all these people I've been seeing the whole time. I just want to see some more faces because I hate talking into the camera like I'm talking to myself, which Jason and I do a lot when we're doing different Zooms because sometimes that's all we can see is ourselves. Thank you so much. Thank you. It makes me feel so much better that I'm actually talking to somebody and not talking to myself, which I do on occasion anyway. So anyway, I am Lisa, yes, and I am Jason's wife, and I am going to share with you my journey to where I am today. And so to do that, I got to kind of revert back into the past so that you'll understand why this is a journey and why I share all of this, because everything compounds and builds and gets to this point. So Jason and I have only been married, well, it'll be 7 years in May this year. So I legit married into this whole thing. I married into this whole Be Epic / Origin is how I put it now. And so I am going to share with you that journey of how I started here and got to here and went to there and why I'm here now. So back in 1997, I say I'm taking it way back here. Okay, 1997. Some of you on here probably weren't even born then. I don't know. Back in 1997, I was in my early 20s. I was working as a dental assistant. I'd gone to school, was working as a dental assistant, had my papers in to go to hygiene school, was all set. I was going to be a hygienist. That's what I'm going to do my rest of my life, have family, all of that stuff. I had one child at the time that was a little baby, and I was getting ready, to do this. And I got in a bad car accident, messed my back up. And from there went a whole chain of events where I started going numb from my feet to my breasts. My hands started going numb. I had these massive migraine headaches that I could not do anything for. And all of a sudden, I couldn't be a dental assistant anymore because I couldn't hold the instruments, and all of the looking down was aggravating something going on in my body. Went through all sorts of MRI, CAT scan, spinal tap, all sorts of things, found out that I had multiple sclerosis. And I sat there in the neurologist's office, and she said to me, you're going to be in a wheelchair in 10 years. I don't want you to have any more children. Okay. I only had one child at the time. And she said, I want you to go on these steroid shots that are going to cost $900 a month. And I just went, nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me how many kids I can have. Nobody tells me anything. And my husband will tell you that I'm very hard-headed. So he deals with this all the time. But I was like, I walked out of there. I was bawling, but I walked out of there and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever go back to a neurologist. And no offense to anybody if they are a doctor or they, go by doctors or whatever. But right then I decided that I was going to go on a journey to find natural supplements, that I was going to find something that was going to help me throughout my life. So I was in all sorts of multi-level marketing. I've done Herbalife, I've done Plexus, I can't even name all the things I've tried. And like everything else, for a little bit, they worked. And then my body was just kind of like, nah, I'm just not feeling it, or it's getting too expensive or whatever. And I went through this whole journey over and over and over and over. And I continued on with life, changed to work in different jobs, finally ended up going to college as a single mom with 4 kids. So I went on, I had 3 more kids, which was very hard on my body every single time. I couldn't walk for months, and it was just really hard. And life goes on, I do more things, and I keep trying different supplements. I go to neurologists because I lost vision in one of my eyes. And so I ended up having to have steroid IV treatments. And they're like, if you're going to be my patient, you have to have an MRI every year. Anybody that's ever had an MRI, they're very expensive, and I am very claustrophobic. And I thought, no way, I'm not doing this. And I never went back. And so I'm still continue on this journey. Well, then I married Jason. And all I hear about at every family function, because we are a family-owned business, is Be Epic, the products, the supplements, the this, the that. And I was like, well, everybody claims they have the best products, whatever. And I listened to this, and I still was continuing through a health journey. And I started having some health problems in 2020. We got married in 2019. In 2020, I started having health problems. And I thought, what else could be going on? And I ended up getting diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's your thyroid. And so I was like, oh, well, here we go. I went on the anti-inflammatory diet, and I went on all sorts of these really expensive supplements, again, trying to find something to get feeling better, help me through this time of health stuff. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try these products. I'm going to try these Be Epic products. And I started with what's called the Epic Pack, and it's a white, purple, and green pill. And immediately I started feeling better, having results. And then every time Be Epic would come out with another product, I'm like, I'm trying it. I'm doing it because I want to know what it does. And not only that, but you guys, I signed up as a distributor because I could get the products for free. But I was like, you know what? I want to share this with people. I want people to feel how good I'm feeling. I want to help people that have stuff going on in their lives. And so that was in 2020. Fast forward to last year. So I'm doing pretty good with my health. I'm taking my supplements. I'm doing good. And we went to Orlando for a Be Epic event in July of last year. And we were in a rental van that didn't have any air conditioning, and it was record-breaking temperatures. And anybody that knows MS knows that people with MS don't do well in the heat. And needless to say, by the time we were on our way to fly home to Utah, and we were on our way to the airport, and by the time we got to the airport, my body went into shutdown. My son that was traveling with us had to carry me into the airport, yelling out for medical help. And I had extreme heat exhaustion and severely dehydrated when I got to the emergency room. Well, this started a whole nother ripple of health issues. And when I got home, I ended up in the emergency room again and ended up with a heart monitor, and wore this heart monitor for 3 weeks and got diagnosed again with another autoimmune disorder. And it's like, all right, at this point, add it to the list. What else, what else could be happening? And I got diagnosed with dysautonomia. And basically dysautonomia is where your brain and your nerves do not communicate to pump your heart correctly. So yes, I am on heart medication, and I'm telling you all this for a reason, because when they came out, okay, let me back up a little bit. With my thyroid, around the time that I found out I had dysautonomia, my doctor decided that he wanted to put me on a thyroid medication. So I started taking this thyroid medication. Within 1 week, you guys, I gained 10 pounds in 1 week. And I was like, so you know what, with this medication, I am not taking something that makes me gain weight. Like, I just quit taking it. And my doctor's like, you can't just quit taking it. I said, well, I did. And I started using more of our Be Epic products. We had Epic Slim products, and I started using more products, trying to see what else I could do. And then I got really, really frustrated because I seemed to kind of hit this point where I could not lose weight. So I do what a lot of other people have done. I go to the doctor and I say, tell me about tirzepatide. Tell me about Wegovy, Ozempic. My sister was on the shots. She has diabetes and she's lost a bunch of weight, but I'm telling you what, she's also lost a bunch of other things like her hair, everything else. And I was to the point of being desperate. I wanted to lose some weight. So I said, I want to be on these shots. So I started taking the shots. And yes, I lost weight, but you know what else? I felt like crap every single time Jason, and yes, Jason had to give me the shot because I don't give myself shots. I felt like crap every time he gave me the shot. And I hated all of the side effects. And so when these drops came out, I was so excited, but I was also nervous, like maybe some of you right now, where I was like, I hate the taste of fish. I'm allergic to shrimp. And I was like, I am not doing this. Like, I am not taking this stuff. And Jason started taking it. And because I am with, recognition, Jason and I are also over sales and growth of USA, Canada, Germany, France, and Scandinavian countries. So I was in a testers group with people in the US and people in Germany. So I was watching all these testimonials. I was listening to what Jason's going through. And finally I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this. And I'm telling you, Jason said that I had headaches. Okay. I got to clear something up here. Who knows really where the headaches came from? Because I have so many things going on in my body all the time. But I think it was just my body kind of like, what are you doing now? Like, what are you taking now? Like, what is this? And I think it was just like an adjustment period. But there are other people that have reported that and they've continued to take it and they've loved the results. And so don't let any of these things scare you or stop you, or you go, oh, well, what if it doesn't work for me? What if whatever? And I can tell you that I also hit a point where I was like, I don't know if I am going to lose any more weight with these drops. And I did the detox tea that we have and started dropping more weight. And so use other things, like don't get in your mind that it's not going to work, or because you didn't lose weight in 1 week that it's not going to do anything for you. And like, we have a guy with Be Epic that his name is Coach Scott. And he actually just did a live and talked about this in his live, but I was talking to him on the phone and we were talking about different people and how this one lady said to him that she had 30 pounds that she wanted to lose and she started on the drops. She didn't see any results within like the first 3-4 days. And I said to him, how long did it take her to put the 30 pounds on her body? Did it take her 1 week to put 30 pounds on her body? And I could tell you guys, it took me longer than 1 week to put extra weight on my body. And you don't want to lose weight that fast. You want to lose weight, but you don't want to drop it so fast that that you're not feeling healthy, because most of the time if you drop weight that fast, you're not healthy. And that's the thing about these drops is you're losing the fat and you're feeling better. I'm telling you, my stomach started feeling flatter. I don't care what other weight loss stuff I've done. I've lost weight, but my stomach never felt like it does now. And so I just want you guys to know that there's some things that we go through. There's people that have health stuff. I have tons of health stuff. Yes, we get nervous to do stuff. Yes, we should consult with our doctors sometimes. But you know what? We know ourselves better than our doctor knows us. We know what our body does better than our doctor does. And we know what makes us feel good. And that is what I want to leave you with, is just do what's best for you. Do what feels good for you. And don't be scared to try these drops and let them do their magic.
Thank you, Lisa. I love that. And that isn't true. Lisa pretty much has every autoimmune disease that you can get almost, it seems like. But the drops have really been a game changer for her. And, and they've been a game changer for me. I truly feel such a big difference with the drops. It was so weird. I run out every morning and I used to bend over just putting on my socks and my shoes. And I was like, man, I'm not that fat. My gut isn't that big, but I almost couldn't breathe when I bent over. And now it's like a total life change. I have flexibility back and stuff. It's crazy the little differences that you get with these drops. And look at Sean and his wife Tylene. They're both skinny, fitness, huge, fitness people. They take the drops. They don't need to lose weight, and they're taking the drops every day because there's so many other benefits that these drops have. And that's what I love about the drops. It's something that can help anybody in the world because everybody has a problem. And these drops, it seems like they have a little meter that says this is what this person needs, and that's what it amps up in their body. And they're amazing. I think these are going to be a game changer for anyone that takes them. And you got to give it some time. And like Lisa was saying, you didn't put that weight on overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. And so give it time. A lot of times, like Lisa said, sometimes you do hit a plateau with your eating and everything. And sometimes just a simple detox will kick it right back into gear. And so I appreciate everybody taking the time to be on this call. I appreciate Sean and Tylene being on this call with their amazing knowledge of this product. And I'm so happy that they invented this product for us because it is a life changer for us. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Joy and let her close this call out.
Wow. For what I thought was going to be a 30-minute call, we went on. And you know what I'll do is we'll maybe clip it in different parts because there were so many nuggets I want to go back to. I know for myself, my confidence sharing the product has just risen tremendously. I love the product. I knew when I first heard about it that it was going to be a great solution for so many, a great healthy option. And I think that's really what we need to be able to present. And my confidence is really high. So everyone on the panel and everyone who took the time to watch this and watches the replay is thank you so much. Let's go forth and just share from our heart authentically. We've got something here that can change lives. And in the process, our timing is really good because this is just the beginning. So thank you,
Very good.
everyone. And Jason, when you hand over the recording, we'll turn magic on this end and we'll get it out to everyone so they can have a replay.
Awesome.
Thank
So
you.
Thanks,
guys,
guys.
I just want to thank Jason and Lisa. Thank you for making this happen. Joy
Yes.
for putting it together, and Sean and Tylene, you guys are amazing. And Lisa, your testimony, every time I hear it, I have goosebumps on my, yeah. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. I mean, this is a lot of private things, and all of us very grateful for you to share it with us. It's amazing. You look, by the way, spectacular. So
Thank you. See what the drops do?
Yes.
thank you, guys.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Have a good evening.
Bye,
Okay.
Have a great night.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.